Imagine a human who could walk for days without rest, endure scorching heat with no shelter, and bring down dangerous prey with nothing but sharpened sticks. Now imagine them looking at us, soft, screen-staring, air-conditioned modern humans. Who would survive longer in the wild? The answer is brutal. Homo erectus would destroy us. They weren't just our ancestors, they were tougher, harder, and far more adapted to a world that wanted them dead. And once you see what they could do, you'll realize just how fragile we've become. Chapter 1. Built for Survival. If you were to line up a modern human against a Homo erectus, the first thing you'd notice isn't the brain, it's the body. Broad chests, thick bones, long legs built for the hunt. But what really set them apart was their endurance. Homo erectus perfected a hunting technique that would leave most of us collapsed on the ground. Persistence hunting. They didn't need speed like a cheetah or claws like a lion. Instead, they used sweat, patience, and sheer willpower. For hours, sometimes days, they would chase an antelope or zebra across the plains. Every time the animal tried to rest, Homo erectus kept moving. Eventually, the prey would collapse from heat exhaustion, and that's when the kill was made, with nothing more than sharp stones or wooden spears. Think about that for a second. Today, most people can't even run 5 kilometers without training. Homo erectus could run prey into the ground, literally. How was this possible? Evolution gave them 2 key advantages: efficient sweating, unlike fur-covered predators, they could cool their bodies while running, and long legs and strong Achilles tendons, perfect for steady, energy-efficient jogging. This wasn't sprinting, it was survival marathons, the kind of hunt that patience killed more than sharp teeth ever could. For modern humans, exercise is a choice. For Homo erectus, it was life or death, and they were built for it in ways we can barely imagine. Homo erectus didn't just run their prey to death, they survived in environments that would kill us in hours. Imagine the blazing savannas of Africa, where temperatures soared past 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and predators lurked in every shadow. For Homo erectus, this wasn't a danger, it was home. Their bodies were designed to handle it. Heat resistance. They had leaner builds than earlier hominids, with long limbs that allowed better cooling. Efficient breathing. Their rib cages and noses adapted to long bouts of exertion in hot, dry air. Sweat glands everywhere. While most animals pant, erectus could cool their bodies while still running. Then there were their bones. Archaeologists studying Homo erectus skeletons often describe them as thick, dense, and almost reinforced. Unlike our lighter, more fragile frames, erectus had bones that could take a beating, from falls, from fights, from simple daily survival. Pain tolerance? Off the charts. Imagine migrating across volcanic landscapes, crossing deserts with nothing but stone tools, sleeping on the bare ground, constantly under threat from hyenas and saber-toothed cats. They had no shoes, no medicine, no comfort, and yet they endured. Modern humans, a twisted ankle can sideline us for weeks. Erectus broke bones and kept moving. Fossil evidence shows healed fractures that prove they lived through injuries most of us would struggle with in a hospital. It's not that Homo erectus was reckless, it's that their bodies were hardwired for punishment. They were the ultimate survival machines, forged in a world that had no mercy. Homo erectus wasn't just surviving, they were dominating their ecosystem. Long before modern humans invented weapons, tents, or agriculture, Homo erectus walked the earth as a relentless predator. Persistence hunting made them apex hunters, but their intelligence amplified it. They used strategy, endurance, and fire to control the environment, herding animals toward traps, cornering prey against cliffs, or driving them into rivers. These were hunting tactics far beyond brute force. They weren't chasing for sport, they were rewriting the rules of survival. And it wasn't just prey they had to worry about. Carnivorous predators, lions, hyenas, saber-toothed cats, were constantly watching, waiting for a mistake. Homo erectus faced them without armor, without bows, without walls. Their victories over these predators weren't luck. They were a testament to endurance, speed, and cold-blooded courage. Even today, the comparison is staggering. A modern human without tools or preparation would be defenseless in the African savanna. Homo erectus, they were unstoppable. Built for heat, bone, speed, and resilience, they could outlast almost any threat. It's easy to underestimate them because we see their skeletons and think, they look human. But beneath the familiar shape was a body and mind engineered for relentless survival. Apex predators weren't just animals. Homo erectus was living proof that sometimes humans were the deadliest species of all. Chapter 2. Masters of Fire and Stone. Homo erectus didn't just rely on brute strength and endurance. They harnessed fire, and that changed everything. Fire wasn't just warmth, it was protection, a tool and a weapon all in one. Before fire, nights were dangerous. Darkness brought predators, freezing temperatures, and the unknown. But with fire, Erectus created a safe zone, a circle of light and heat that allowed them to rest, prook, and plan their next hunt. Imagine sitting by a roaring fire, surrounded by darkness, knowing no lion or hyena could reach you. That was a luxury earlier humans never had. Fire also transformed their diet. Cooking meat made calories easier to absorb, reducing the energy needed to digest raw flesh. This allowed their brains to grow, their bodies to endure longer hunts, and their energy to last through grueling migrations. Even tough plant roots and tubers became edible when roasted over flames. And fire wasn't just passive, it was strategic. Some evidence suggests Homo erectus used fire to drive prey, scare predators, or clear vegetation. Fire became an extension of their body, a tool that amplified their natural abilities. No modern human could survive unarmed in the wild the way Erectus could, but with fire, a simple stick, and sharp stones, they could dominate the same environment that would kill us in hours. Fire gave Homo erectus warmth and strategy, but their stone tools made them lethal. These weren't just rocks, they were extensions of their hands, precision weapons crafted for cutting, scraping, and hunting. Unlike the crude implements of Homo habilis, erectus tools were systematic and efficient. Hand axes, cleavers, and scrapers were carefully shaped to balance sharpness with durability. Each strike of the stone against stone was a lesson in geometry, physics, and survival. The tools could cut meat, break bones for marrow, and even carve wood for spears.
Hunting with stone tools required skill, patience, and teamwork. One misthrown spear could mean injury or death, but equipped with fire and tools, Erectus could take down prey 10 times their size. Evidence shows they hunted elephants, buffalo, and large deer, far beyond the capabilities of earlier hominids. These tools weren't just for survival, they were social glue. Crafting, sharing, and teaching toolmaking reinforced group cohesion. A tribe without skilled toolmakers risked starvation. One with them thrived. Stone tools became the difference between life and death. And here's the staggering truth. While modern humans rely on technology, clothing, and shelter, Homo erectus needed only fire, stone, and raw skill to dominate a world full of predators. They were architects of survival in its purest, most dangerous form. Homo erectus didn't just survive. They hunted giants and outran danger daily. Life was constant movement, planning, and calculated risk. Their prey included massive Ice Age animals, mammoths, bison, and giant deer. Unlike modern hunters with rifles, Erectus relied on endurance, coordination, and primitive spears. Persistence hunting wasn't just exercise, it was life or death. One wrong step, one miscalculated spear throw, and the hunter could be crushed, trampled, or gored. Predators were everywhere. Saber-toothed cats, hyenas, and crocodiles stalked their hunting grounds. But armed with fire, stone tools, and teamwork, Erectus could turn the tables. They herded prey into ambush points, cornered animals against cliffs, and even used fire to drive creatures toward traps. Survival wasn't easy. Migrating across continents, exposed to harsh climates, hunger, and predators, Homo erectus had to endure mental and physical stress far beyond modern humans' experience. Yet fossils show healed fractures, strong bones, and adaptations that prove they didn't just survive, they thrived under conditions that would kill us in days. Every day was a fight for calories, warmth, and safety. Every hunt was a test of endurance, intelligence, and courage. And through it all, Homo erectus was at the top of the food chain, a predator our modern species could only dream of being. Chapter 3. Life on the Edge. Homo erectus didn't just survive in Africa, they expanded across continents, from Africa to Europe and Asia, enduring environments that would have killed most modern humans. This wasn't migration as a hobby, it was a relentless quest for survival and resources. Crossing deserts, river valleys, and mountain ranges, erectus faced heat, cold, predators, and scarce food. Unlike us, they had no clothing, no tents, no GPS. Their tools and endurance were all that stood between life and death. Fossil evidence shows adaptations for long-distance travel, strong leg bones, resilient joints, and efficient cardiovascular systems. Persistence hunting combined with migration allowed them to follow herds across vast distances. Water sources dictated their paths, and seasonal changes forced them to constantly adapt. Each journey was a lesson in resourcefulness and resilience. They survived floods, droughts, and predator attacks that would wipe out a modern expedition. It's not just physical strength that stands out. Homo erectus displayed early signs of planning, communication, and social coordination. Group hunts, sharing of resources, and passing down tool-making skills suggest intelligence paired with physical toughness, a deadly combination. In short, Homo erectus didn't just live on the edge, they redefined it, showing that endurance, strategy, and raw strength could conquer continents long before modern humans existed. Homo erectus didn't just face environmental challenges, they were constantly hunted by the world's deadliest predators. Lions, hyenas, giant snakes, and crocodiles prowled their habitats, all seeing erectus as a potential meal. Yet fossils and archaeological evidence reveal that they survived, thrived, and sometimes even dominated these threats. Fire and teamwork were their first line of defense. A roaring fire could drive off a predator or keep it at bay long enough for the group to escape. Stone tools acted as weapons and deterrents, but the real advantage was strategy and coordination. Erectus could set ambushes, use distraction techniques, and herd predators away from their vulnerable members. Predator encounters also shaped their bodies. Their bones show repeated trauma and healed injuries from close calls, proving that they took risks other species wouldn't survive. Every hunting trip, every river crossing was a calculated gamble, and erectus lived to tell the tale. Beyond survival, these encounters honed their mental toughness. Facing constant danger required vigilance, quick decision-making, and emotional control. Fear was a tool, not a weakness. Unlike modern humans, who often panic under threat, erectus evolved to remain focused under life or death pressure. In essence, Homo erectus didn't just coexist with predators, they mastered the art of survival. They turned what should have been weaknesses into advantages, proving that toughness isn't just physical, but mental, strategic, and relentless. For Homo erectus, every day was a fight against the elements, hunger, and predators. Unlike modern humans, survival wasn't guaranteed by supermarkets or shelters. It was earned, minute by minute, mile by mile. Morning began with hunting or foraging. They tracked prey across scorching savannas, freezing highlands, and dense forests. Failure meant starvation. Success meant calories for the tribe. Their bodies, optimized for endurance, allowed them to walk or run for hours without rest, a level of stamina that would exhaust most of us in mere minutes. Water and food dictated movement. Homo erectus followed rivers and seasonal herds, sometimes traveling dozens of kilometers a day with nothing but stone tools and fire. Sleep was minimal, often taken in dangerous, open areas because predators and rival humans were constant threats. Every nap was calculated. Every meal was hard-won. Injuries were common. Broken bones, cuts, and burns were part of life, yet fossils show remarkable healing and resilience. A fractured limb didn't end the hunt. A bad day didn't end survival. Their mental toughness matched their physical prowess, creating a combination that modern humans rarely experience. This wasn't an existence for the faint-hearted. It was relentless, brutal, and unforgiving, but Homo erectus thrived. They were endurance runners, strategists, and apex survivors all in one, a species designed to survive in a world that showed no mercy.
Chapter 4. Why We Couldn't Compete. Imagine dropping a modern human into the African savanna without food, shelter, or weapons. Just a bare body, a thin layer of skin, and a fragile skeleton. Most of us wouldn't last a day. Now, imagine Homo erectus in the same situation. The difference is staggering. Physical endurance is the first gap. Modern humans, despite our intelligence, are largely sedentary, adapted for convenience. Homo erectus, in contrast, was built for long-distance travel, persistent hunting, and migration across harsh terrains. They could walk or run for hours, regulate heat efficiently, and survive with minimal food. Then there's resilience to injury. Erectus bones were thick, dense, and capable of withstanding trauma that would incapacitate us. They recovered from fractures, burns, and bites while still remaining functional. Modern humans, with lighter skeletons and softer muscles, would quickly succumb to the same hazards. And finally, mental endurance. Modern humans are brilliant, but Erectus endured constant stress, predators, hunger, weather extremes, without modern tools or medicine. Their problem-solving wasn't abstract. It was survival in real time. Fear was a motivator, not a paralyzing emotion. Put it all together, in a raw survival contest, Homo erectus would dominate, not because they were smarter, but because their bodies, minds, and instincts were engineered for danger in a way modern humans simply are not. Homo erectus didn't just survive, they were built like athletes designed by evolution itself. Modern humans, for all our technology, pale in comparison when stripped of comfort. First, strength. Fossil evidence shows Erectus had thicker bones, larger joints, and more muscle attachment sites than us. This wasn't just brute power, it was functional strength optimized for long hunts, lifting heavy prey, and surviving falls or attacks. Their limbs could take pounding over miles of travel and repeated exertion without breaking. Endurance was equally remarkable. They could run prey to exhaustion, walk for dozens of kilometers daily, and migrate across continents. Modern humans are endurance athletes by choice. Homo erectus lived it by necessity. They could sweat efficiently, regulate body temperature, and maintain energy over long periods, traits most of us have lost in sedentary life. Even their skeletons were superior. Their rib cages, spines, and leg bones were designed to absorb shock and distribute stress during relentless activity. They weren't fragile like ours. A fracture or fall didn't mean immobilization. Bones from excavations show healing from injuries, meaning these individuals survived life-threatening trauma and continued hunting and traveling. And don't forget, pain tolerance and mental toughness. Homo erectus endured hunger, wounds, cold nights, and predator attacks without complaint. Modern humans, insulated by clothing, homes, and medicine, would falter in days where Homo erectus thrived for years. In short, the combination of strength, endurance, and resilience made them physically superior survival machines. They weren't just humans, they were apex survivors, creatures we would struggle to match even with all our modern advantages. Homo erectus's advantage wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Surviving in a world full of predators, starvation, and harsh climates required a mind as tough as the body. They didn't have the luxury of modern comforts. Every decision was life or death: when to hunt, where to sleep, how to avoid predators, and how to ration scarce food. Their mental endurance was honed through constant exposure to risk. Stress didn't paralyze them, it sharpened focus, reaction times, and problem-solving skills. Group coordination amplified their edge. Hunting in teams required communication, planning, and patience. Social intelligence wasn't just about relationships, it was survival. A single mistake could cost lives, yet Erectus thrived in these high-stakes environments. Compare this to modern humans. We may be intellectually superior in abstract thinking, but we're soft in mental endurance. Our stress tolerance is limited, our problem-solving rarely involves life or death stakes, and prolonged physical exertion without tools quickly overwhelms us. Homo erectus faced this daily: hunger, injury, predators, yet remained effective. Even their instincts were sharper. Fear, alertness, and situational awareness were tools for survival, finely tuned over hundreds of thousands of years. Modern humans, insulated by technology, rarely experience this level of constant vigilance. Put it together, superior bodies, relentless endurance, and unbreakable minds. That's why Homo erectus didn't just survive, they dominated the prehistoric world in ways we can barely comprehend today. Conclusion. Homo erectus wasn't just another ancestor in the evolutionary tree. They were survival machines. Endurance that could chase prey for miles, bones built to withstand trauma, brains honed for constant danger, and a mastery of fire and tools that turned them into apex predators. Every aspect of their existence was tuned for life in a brutal world that would overwhelm modern humans in hours. Compare that to us. Insulated, sedentary, dependent on technology, comfort, and convenience. We may have bigger brains, but Homo erectus had stronger bodies, tougher minds, and instincts that never sleep. In a raw survival challenge, they would outlast us, outthink us in the moment, and outmaneuver every threat the wild could throw at them. It's humbling and terrifying to realize just how far evolution has softened us. Our ancestors were forged in fire, stone, and relentless challenge, while we thrive in climate-controlled homes with fast food and screens. Call to action. Now it's your turn. Could you survive even a single week in the life of Homo erectus? Or would modern comforts make you weak in comparison? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to see who thinks they could outlast a prehistoric human. And if this journey into our ancestors' brutal world fascinated you, like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into human evolution, and hit the bell so you never miss a glimpse into the survival secrets of our species. Because understanding the toughness of Homo erectus isn't just history, it's a mirror showing how far we've come and how far we've softened.